Presidential elections were held in Iran on the 19th of May 2017, the 12th such election in Iran. Local elections were held simultaneously. Candidates' registration took place from 11 to the 15th of April 2017. Incumbent President Hassan Rouhani was eligible to run for re-election. His rivals were the Iranian Principalists' top candidate Ebrahim, the Islamic Coalition Party's Mustafa Mir Salim, and the Executives of Construction Party's Mustafa Hashemi. Rouhani was re-elected for a second term. According to results announced by the Interior Ministry, Rouhani received 23.5 of 41 million votes counted. Ali Asghar Ahmadi, head of the election committee, was Saturday's announcer on state TV. Rouhani's closest rival, Ebrahim, received 15.7 million votes. Electoral system eligibility Any Iranian citizen above 18 years of age was able to register as a presidential candidate. An institution called the Election Monitoring Agency (EMA) and managed by the Guardian Council vets registered candidates and approves a handful to run in the election. The Guardian Council does not publicly announce the reason a particular candidate is rejected, although those reasons are explained to each candidate. Women who register as candidates have invariably been excluded from standing for election by the council. Timeline According to the official dates announced on the 1st of April 2017 by the Ministry of Interior, the 11th of April, start of the election process with the Minister of the Interior's order. 11 to 13 April, governors establish executive boards. 11 to 15 April, registration period for candidates. The 15th of April, registration ends at 1800 IRDT. The 16th of April, Guardian Council begins vetting registered candidates. The 20th of April, Guardian Council addresses objections from disqualified candidates. The 20th of April, final list of candidates announced. The 21st of April, final candidates launch official campaigns. The 17th of May, end of campaigns. The 19th of May, election date. Candidates registration and vetting process During the 5 days period, a total of 1,636 individuals put their name to run for president, an increase over the 686 candidates in the previous election in 2013. Among the candidates was a record number of 137 women. Hundreds of the applicants were ordinary people with no political background and clearly lacked the criteria cited in the Article 115 of the Constitution, which is being considered among religious and political regional men or personalities, according to different interpretations. Many criticized the law, which allows almost anyone to register to run. Some intended to gain public attention, including political prisoners Mehdi Khazali and former MP Qasim Sholeh Sadi, and some women tried to challenge the judicial interpretation of word regional as men, most notably Azam Talagani. On the 20th of April 2017, the Guardian Council announced a list of 6 approved candidates. The list contains incumbent President Hassan Rouhani, incumbent Vice President Eshaq Jahangiri, Astan Quds Razavi custodian Ebrahim, Tehran Mayor Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, Mustafa Mir Salim and Mustafa Hashemi, former President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad and his Vice President Hamid Baghawi were disqualified. Ahmadinejad, who was advised by the Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei not to run for the election, wrote a letter in September 2016 to him, pledging that he would not run. On the 11th of February 2017, he officially declared that he would not back any candidate. However, in a video released on the 19th of March 2017, he announced his support for Hamid Baghawi and surprised observers by himself registering to run. Mohammad Gharzi was also among those disqualified, despite being approved as a candidate in 2013. Approved candidates Withdrawals. On the 15th of May 2017, Ghalibaf withdrew and endorsed Ebrahim. In his statement, Ghalibaf accused current President Hassan Rouhani of financial mismanagement and asserted that he and his supporters were revolutionary opportunists. The statement read, "The fight against pseudo-revolutionary opportunists has become highly costly, because this current is gnawing at the roots of the revolution like a termite. They are not only at odds with the intellectual fundaments of original revolutionaries, but also represent a current whose material interests are at risk." On the 16th of May 2017, candidate Eshaq Jahangiri urged people to vote for Hassan Rouhani in his speech in Yasuj, and dropped out of the race and endorsed Hassan Rouhani in his speech in Shiraz. Campaign Debates and TV programs Islamic Republic of Iran Broadcasting, IRIB, provides each candidate with 210 minutes for campaign talks on TV, and there would be 3 debate sessions on politics, economics, and social pressing issues aired on Channel 1. On the 20th of April 2017, Election Campaign Monitoring Commission announced that there would be no live debates and it will broadcast pre-recorded. However, after vast criticism from candidates and Iranian people, the commission revoked its decision 2 days later. Candidates are scheduled to air dedicated programs on IRIB TV channels and radio stations, 555 minutes for each per candidate, and a sum of 1,470 minutes including the debates. Campaigning techniques. The election was characterized for usage of populist practices and mudslinging. The Conservatives launched smear campaigns against the reformist-backed candidate Hassan Rouhani, while he initially maintained positive campaigning. Rouhani later changed strategy by straightly attacking his rivals, and the incumbent administration used fear-mongering tactics. Role of social media. Social media was traditionally a tool for the reformists to campaign, but the presence of conservatives during the election was unprecedented in Iranian political history. Telegram instant messaging service, the most widely used messaging application in Iran, reportedly has more than 45 million users in a country of nearly 80 million as of April 2016. It serves as a platform for Iranians to express their political opinions and played an important role in the campaigns for the elections held in 2016 for Parliament and Assembly of Experts. Twitter is blocked in Iran. However, Iranians use proxies to tweet, and those that create a buzz then travel to Telegram channels, where they can potentially reach a much wider audience. According to BBC, 2 months before election, Iranian judiciary arrested some pro-Hassan Rouhani Telegram channel administrators for crimes against public morals and publishing obscenity. The campaigners also heavily used Instagram and its feature of airing live videos to stream real-time campaign developments. Tactical nomination of Jahangiri. President Rouhani's ally and first Vice President Eshaq Jahangiri is standing in the election to support him during the campaign and in TV debates, being called as a fender or cover candidate by Iranian media, and will possibly later withdraw in support of the incumbent president. The idea was allegedly recommended by Akbar Hashemi Rafsanjani, who was a key backer of Rouhani before his death in January 2017. Another reason for the nomination was to have an alternative candidate, in case the Guardian Council disqualified Rouhani or raise his profile for a bid in 2021. Jahangiri withdrew in favor of Rouhani on the 16th of May 2017. Hashemitabah's endorsement of Rouhani. Candidate Mustafa Hashemitabah released a statement on the 15th of May 2017 and endorsed Rouhani, but refused to quit the race. He said he will vote for the current president to help extension of this government's constructive approach. Conservative consensus candidate. Among the approved candidates, Ebrahim Reza, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf and Mustafa Mir Salim are regarded as figures of the conservative camp, which intended to bring one single candidate for the election. Popular Front of Islamic Revolution Forces endorsed both Reza and Ghalibaf, and it was unclear that any of them will drop out in favor of a fellow conservative. On the 15th of May 2017, Ghalibaf gave up his bid in favor of Reza. Islamic Coalition Party released a statement on the 18th of May 2017, announcing it supports Reza's bid for presidency following the withdrawal of Mustafa Mir Salim, despite the fact that Mir Salim denied that he is withdrawing from the race. Endorsements and positions. Armenian community of Iran maintains positive neutrality and has no common decision on endorsing any candidate. Progress and Justice Population of Islamic Iran supported Ghalibaf before his dropout. 6 exiled Kurdish opposition organizations declared in a joint statement that they boycott the election. They include the Kurdistan Democratic Party, the Kamala, the Kurdistan Communist Party, the Kurdistan Struggle Organization, the Democratic Party of Iranian Kurdistan and the Iranian Kurdistan Communist Organization. Exiled People's Mujahedin of Iran and its Front NCRI boycott the election. Reza Pahlavi, leader of the National Council of Iran and pretender to Iran's deposed throne, labeled the election a deception and called on Iranians to boycott it. Iranian Sunni community are inclined to re-elect Hassan Rouhani according to Malavi Abdul Hamid, leading Sunni figure who has endorsed Rouhani. Strategic Council of Iran's Al-Sunna Raza and the Sunni fraction in the Iranian parliament expressed support for him. Opinion polls. Results. According According to final results, 41,220,131 voted from a registered electorate of 56,410,234. Turnout was 73.07. The Ministry of Interior announced results gradually after midnight, local time, after polls closed. Final results were announced at 1400. Split percentages are from the Ministry of Interior of Iran, based on all votes cast. This is because 50 plus of all votes is needed to win the first round. Votes by provinces The table below displays the official vote tallies by province. Overseas results The table below displays the official vote tallies by province. Polling stations Abroad Among the 56,410,234 registered to vote in the election, about 2.5 million live abroad, and the elections were held in 103 countries, including the United States. Canada, which hosts at least 400,000 Iranians, does not have diplomatic relations with Iran, which has made accommodating the elections difficult. However, some Iranians traveled to the United States in order to participate in the presidential elections. Allegations of foreign interference Judiciary head remarks The head of Iran's judicial system, Sadiq Larijani, warned that enemies have made a huge investment to undermine and exploit the elections. The enemies may want to deal a blow to the Iranian political system during the elections, he said. President of Tatarstan visit On the 20th of April 2017, Rustam Minakhanov, President of Tatarstan and Putin's envoy, met with candidate Ebrahim Reza in Mashhad. In his capacity as the head of Astan Quds Razavi, MP Alireza Rahimi questioned the meeting and asked for explanations about the reasons for this meeting, citing alleged Russian interference in 2016 U.S. election. The recent meeting raises the suspicion of interference in the elections, which is not appropriate, he said. According to the official Islamic Republic news agency, Minakhanov also met Vice President Eshaq Jahangiri in Tehran one day earlier, discussing bilateral relations. Reactions Domestic Tens of thousands of supporters of President Hassan Rouhani have poured into the streets of Tehran as night falls to celebrate the incumbent's re-election. The Tehran Stock Exchange rallied after the election results came out, extending a recent winning streak to close almost 1% higher at its highest level in 3 months. Popular Front of Islamic Revolution Forces, the coalition of Rouhani's principalists' opponents, congratulated Rouhani in their website, asked him to refrain from entering experienced false solutions. Individuals. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has issued a message commending the Iranian people for their massive and epic turnout in the country's twin elections. The winner of yesterday's elections is you, the Iranian people, and the Islamic establishment, which has managed to win the increasing trust of this big nation despite the enemy's plot and effort, the supreme leader said. Hassan Rouhani made the remarks in a televised speech following announcement of his election victory. Iranians clearly and explicitly sent their message to the world through the Friday elections, he said, adding, "Our nation wants to live in peace and friendship with the world, but at the same time, it will accept no humiliation or threat." Presidential candidates Ebrahim Reza, Mustafa Hashemidabad and Mustafa Mir Salimur conceded and congratulated Rouhani. However, the day after the announcement of the results, Reza protests Guardian Council over election violations in a letter. Withdrew candidate Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf also congratulated Rouhani, said it is clear that the winner and his critics are right and duty to observe their religious democracy is a guarantee. First Vice President Eshaq Jahangiri congratulated the Iranian people for their huge electoral turnout. He thanked the 24 million trusting Rouhani's administration. Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif said, "We derive stability not from coalitions, but from our people, who, unlike many, do vote. Iranians must be respected and are ready to engage." There were some reports that Donald Trump wanted to create a Sunni coalition in the Arab world against Iran during his visit to Saudi Arabia, where elections are an anomaly. Organizations. Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. On the 7th of March 2017, IRGC Commander-in-Chief Gen. Muhammad Ali Jafari said, like in the past, nobody in the IRGC, neither the guards nor the commanders, is permitted to interfere in the elections politically or factionally and to discredit the candidates. On the 1st of May 2017, Deputy IRGC Commander for Political Affairs Gen. Rasul Sani told press that IRGC will not support any candidate in the May 19 presidential election. International Supranational. European Union. High Representative Federica Mogherini congratulated Rouhani Rouhani on his victory, Iranians took passionately part to political life of their country, states. Afghanistan. President Ashraf Ghani, on behalf of Afghan people and government, congratulated the people and government of Iran on Rouhani's re-election in a message. Armenia. President Soros Sarkisyan sent a congratulatory message to his Iranian counterpart Hassan Rouhani on his re-election. Azerbaijan. President Ilham Aliyev congratulated his Iranian counterpart Hassan Rouhani on his re-election as president. Canada. Foreign Minister Chrystia Freeland said her country welcomes President Rouhani's commitment to continue implementing Iran's nuclear obligations under the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA, and to improve the lives of ordinary Iranians. China. President Xi Jinping sent a congratulatory message to his Iranian counterpart Hassan Rouhani on his re-election as president, which will give him a second four-year term. France. Emmanuel Macron congratulated Rouhani for his re-election and said this reinforced the hope his government would apply the international nuclear agreement, his office said in a statement. Germany. Foreign Minister Sigmar Gabriel congratulated Rouhani on his re-election as president, stressing closer cooperation between Germany and Iran. India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated Rouhani on re-election, calling to strengthen ties with Iran. Italy. Prime Minister Paolo Gentiloni congratulated Rouhani in a message on his Twitter account. He also expressed confidence to friendship between the two nations and relations between the two countries. Foreign Minister Angelino Alfano congratulating victory of Hassan Rouhani, underlined Italy's support for JCPOA. Former Prime Minister and leader of ruling Democratic Party Matteo Renzi also called result of Iran's election important and added that victory of reformists in Iran is fundamental for the Middle East region. Japan. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe felicitated Rouhani on his election victory, voicing hope that the Iranian president will continue to play a constructive role for peace and prosperity in the Middle East. Abe said he was looking forward to working with Rouhani on bolstering cooperation between Tehran and Tokyo in various fields. Japanese Foreign Minister Fumio Kishida also sent a similar congratulatory message to the Iranian president. Kuwait. Emir Sabah Al-Ahmad Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, Crown Prince Nawaf Al-Ahmad Al-Jaber Al-Sabah and Prime Minister Jaber Al-Mubarak Al-Hamid Al-Sabah sent separate messages of felicitation to Rouhani. Lebanon. President Michel Aoun congratulated Rouhani on his re-election, wishing him well during his second term in office. The world looks forward to continuing the approach of openness and dialogue that you have called for in order to fortify the region from the dangers that beset it. Parliament Speaker Nabi Berri also applauded Rouhani on his presidential victory. Norway. Foreign Minister Borge Brende welcomed the re-election of Iranian President Hassan Rouhani. Brende said he echoes the sentiment of Germany's Defense Minister Ursula von der Leyen, who said Rouhani's re-election sends a message that Iran could be serious about instituting reforms. Pakistan. Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif felicitated Rouhani on the re-election, while hoping to continue bilateral endeavors with Iran to strengthen the relationship between the two countries. Russia. President Vladimir Putin congratulated Rouhani and called for deeper ties between Moscow and Tehran. Syria. President Bashar al-Assad congratulated Rouhani. He also wished Rouhani and the Iranian people more success, stressing the continuation of the work and cooperation with the Islamic Republic of Iran to enhance the security and stability of the two countries, the region and the world. United Kingdom. Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson congratulated Rouhani and called for a full implementation of the JCPOA. United States. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson has urged Rouhani to end the country's ballistic missile tests as well as what he called its sponsorship of terrorism. References external links